I change the time later. Okay, I know I said 8 p.m., but we here, it don't matter. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's get this disclaimer in. Drink responsibly. Y'all better be hitting the wine glass. Woo! I hear too much wine on that here vacation, okay? I am officially on vacation, but I am now on the vacation from the vacation. And eyes tired, boss. I'm talking about tired. I don't even want to touch no alcohol blanks, okay? We have to show love and support, okay, to Sweet Bitch, all right? And so I'm going to be sipping on this lightly tonight, all right, while we get into this interview. How was your week? I know that it was a long time that I was away. Listen, I needed a vacation between having the Rona and going to court. I was tired, okay? I was tired. I was over it, and I needed some sunny skies, and I got sunburn all on my neck and back. I see the wine glasses heavy. Okay, now, how was my vacation? Listen, while we waiting on everybody to get in here before we start playing some ass and really get into shit tonight, okay? I'm gonna tell y'all a little bit about my vacation. It was nice. I had never been to Jamaica before. And let me tell you, I had no idea. No idea. Even Teddy didn't know. Teddy had no idea how deep the winos was in Jamaica, okay? Y'all better hit the wine glass for the Jamaicans. Wah, wah. I said, everywhere I turned, they was like, Tasha, I'm like, now what if I want to do some dirt down here? Y'all gonna be snitching, they was already taking pictures of me and stuff in the airport with my little waist trainer on and stuff. I'm on vacation, okay? My do-rag on, had it all on in the airport, saying, hi, winos, how you doing? Hi, how are you? I'm good. No makeup at all, okay? White shit all between my mouth. No, I'm lying, I ain't have all that now, but sometimes I do be a little part. Baby, put the comments up. Let me see what they talking about. I missed them. Okay, let me see. But it was nice. We stayed in it wasn't Montego Bay. It was what is the damn? See, the alcohol and the good earthly herbs is still kicking in. Okay, we stayed at the Moon Palace. So much so that we even ran into the UFC fighter Kamaru Usman. He was out there. At first, I thought he was with his little side chick, but it was his wife. I was going to give y'all some wine reporting live from the resort, okay? But it was his wife. I already got a baby mama and a wife because I was sure about to tell her I had my phone. My husband was like, Usman. I said, I cannot with these Africans. I cannot do it at all, okay? But we had a nice time. They had the best jerk chicken, okay? I did break my veganism for my vacation because I'm on vacation. That's why I'm wearing about 10 extra pounds right now between that and the wine and the tequila, okay? All inclusive. What else did we do? We went and saw, we just relaxed. We relaxed so much that I am taking a vacation from the vacation. Now, I know y'all see me here tonight, okay? But when I saw everything going down on social media with Trey and Chris Brown, y'all really wasn't going to get that, okay? Until it just really, I couldn't get it off my heart. I really couldn't. I said, let me see what in the hell going on. So I had to do some back research, found out who the attorney was. They're dragging their attorney online. The attorney said to hell with all of the critics and actually granted us the one and only exclusive interview that you're going to hear tonight here on UNWINEWITHTASHAK, okay? And so, yeah, that sums up my week. Between that and all the orgasms that wore me out, I'm here, out of breath and all. I'm here, okay? What else do I need to say before we go to commercial? Okay, listen. I'm going to go to commercial. And then once we get back from commercial, I'm going to do a brief intro on what we're going to get into tonight, okay? Y'all better have y'all wine glass or whatever it is that y'all do. You know, we don't discriminate. Sometime over here, okay? With that being said, we got some sponsors that we need to brag about, which which means what? Boldly raise a glass to. We'll be right back. And y'all better like this video or I will not play this interview, okay? Because so much wine is in this interview, it is going to make you gag, okay? Let's go. Roll the commercial.
AdamandEve.com. I'm talking toys, bondage, lingerie, and so much more. Plus, they have 24/7 customer service, so you can order at 3 a.m. if you ain't coming, if you get me, okay? And if something isn't working out, you can send it back within 90 days, no hassle. And if that's not enough, you can also take pleasure in knowing that 20% of their profits goes to help fight the spread of HIV around the world. So go on ahead and log on to AdamandEve.com. Use the code TASHAK for 50% off one item plus free shipping in the U.S. and Canada. Some exclusions apply now, but hurry up and visit AdamandEve.com so they can make you come. Come here, you sweet bitch. I just love you so much and you will too. Wino Sweet Bitch Wine is the champion of the Moscato game. If you like sweet, fruity, dessert-tasting wines with a little sparkle, then get your sparkle on with Sweet Bitch Wines. Oh, and don't think they just stop at Moscato. They also have other options like Chardonnay and Pinot Grigio. There is something for everyone, so don't be a salty bitch. Go check them out on Instagram at Sweet Bitch Wines for recipes or just to learn more. I promise you, you'll love it, you sweet bitch. Let's put the wine down for a second because at times like this, we need to take a shot of the olive leaf extract because the olive leaf boosts our immune system and has been known to reverse high blood pressure, lupus, diabetes, and certain cancers. Check them out at myoliveleaf.biz to learn more and to order or simply click the link below in the description box. Now back to the wine.
We're back. Okay, and listen, during that brief intermission, I'm telling you, the herb was so good and organic, so was the tequila and the wine and everything else going on, so was, the orgasm, everything, okay? I forgot to shout out the Escovitch, okay, from Jamaica. I had no idea that Escovitch was banging like it was, okay? I ate that shit every day, okay? What else? The Blue Lagoon. I mean, the natural spring waters. We saw the luminous water. I jumped in that. Now, listen, we're going to talk about that later on the app because we're going to go live on the app after this. So I ain't going to bore y'all with my vacation, but Jamaica was nice. I really don't brag about vacations like this, but it was so nice. I had to come tell y'all, okay? I want to tell everybody. I need to be a spokesman, okay, for Jamaica. I'm Jamaican. I'm glad. All right, so listen, welcome. Now, I really need y'all likes, okay? I don't ask y'all to donate, although we do accept donations over here. It is not mandatory, okay? But if you do give, we do not interfere with God's blessings over here, okay? Can the church look at your partner and say amen, amen, okay? Can you say blessing, blessing? Now, listen, this Chris Brown and Trey Songz rabbit hole goes deep, okay? Now, if you are a Day One Wino, you guys know that I've been covering all of this from the beginning. So much so that YouTube has restricted some of the videos because I did not hold back in a lot of what was being reported, okay? Now, I know Chris Brown has quite the past, okay? He also has current investigations going on, not necessarily dealing with what's being reported on today, but still lingering accusations in Paris and a whole host of other things. And Trey Songz, yes, we did hear from Dylan Gonzalez as well as Jahara Jeffries, I believe that's her name if I'm saying it right, and some other Jane Does, and the lawyer that is representing all of the women, okay? That has made accusations recently, lawsuits that have already been filed, and upwards of $40 million. I need to change that in the title. It's not $20 million, it's $40 million thus far between the two, okay? Alleged graphic acts happening at Diddy's parties, okay? After Diddy's parties, okay? It seems like Diddy's, and I said this in the interview, I said, I'm old school, I'm from the South, okay? You don't sit on nobody's bed. You don't go in nobody's bedroom, okay? You don't even go upstairs in their house, okay? You don't sit on nobody's bed. And the mere fact that Diddy and all these men in Hollywood are having parties, okay? And letting any and everybody in their houses lay it up, stinking, funky, sweating, and all, okay? And their bedroom is just beyond me, Okay? That's mistake number one. You don't know where that ass has been or whose ass has been where. That's mind-boggling to me, y'all. I just can't wrap my head around it. Don't nobody go to my bedroom. Don't nobody sit on my bed. I'm telling you, they don't even go in there. They ain't got no business in there. Your bed is spiritual, it's sacred. Now, Diddy, it's just too much going on around the house. So much so he need to lay salt outside his door. Okay? I need my hat for this, but I ain't got it tonight. All right? And so when I saw Trey Songz's brother attacked this African-American educated woman who paid for her education out of pocket and accused her of bribery and all sorts of things because she has decided to listen to black women. See, y'all don't think these girls are black. You don't want to listen until they black. Well, I'm going to take that back because it took hell of reports after reports for y'all to even listen concerning R. Kelly and our black girls and daughters, okay? And if y'all understand, this is nothing new for Unwind with Tasha K over here, okay? We expose the perpetrators over here, whether it be fathers, uncles, R&B artists, I don't care, okay? That is one of the core missions of my platform. And if you don't like it, I don't know what I can tell you because ain't nobody beg you to be over here. Although we do, our door's always open. Now, what you're going to hear tonight, this woman did not have to sit down and discuss anything, okay? Now, I see a lot of y'all speaking on law, and you know nothing about law, okay? Hell, she even told me that in the interview because I asked a lot of the questions that a lot of the critics were accusing her of based off of a baseless allegation coming from Trey Songz's lawyers accusing her of bribing witnesses in ongoing cases that have not been settled thus far. Now, like I said, this is graphic content. We represent and advocate for true victims over here, whether it be male or female, because men, contrary to popular belief, can and are victims too, okay? And most of the time, victims victimize. Now, next week, we're gonna get back to the celebrity content, but for now, because I need my vacation from the vacation, okay? So this really does help out when I do these interviews. And two, this is really going to offer you a lot and a ton of insight into things that you don't know, because a lot of the times these celebrities got endless money and they have the type of money to control the narrative, the very narrative in which you are using, most of you, to attack an African-American woman saying that she's coming after the very black man that's victimizing black women. Where's my hat? Now, without further ado, get your wine or whatever it is that you need, because you're going to need it, okay? Tasha K has arrived. And those of y'all that don't like it, there's the door, okay? This is my house. Now, without further ado, I want to introduce, okay? Law graduate, attorney, she's a black woman, okay? Ariel Mitchell. We'll be right. Now, do you prefer to be called Ariel E. Mitchell or just Ariel Mitchell?
Just Ariel Mitchell.
Ariel. First time I heard that name, The Little Mermaid.
Me too. In '94, I had everything: sheets, shirts. They had my name to this day.
And they named you Ariel. What a coincidence!
They named her after me. I was first.
Oh, okay.
I was born first.
You were. If
I came out in '91, I was 7 years old.
Okay.
I was born in '84.
Okay, yeah. Now we doing the math here, because I was like, but you don't look that
I'm an old lady.
You do
right?
not look that old. No. That's why I was just like, you look so young.
I'm 37.
Oh, you're not old. Girl, I'm older than you. Whatever.
I feel old.
I'm about to hit 40 in March. Well,
we close in age.
No,
you was in high school.
I'm your big sister. I'm your big sister.
Listen,
but welcome.
Thank you.
Listen, I was just telling you before we started the interview, I was just like, I'm watching the Trey Songz situation play out online. The Chris Brown and situation play out, and then Trey Songz's brother Ruski says, y'all need to talk to the lawyer. And when I looked at the lawyer, I said, this name is familiar, and I couldn't put my finger on it. And I spent 2 hours going through all the court docs and the articles, and then I had your number in my phone. That's how distant I am from what's going on. If I'm not working on it, I'm not looking for stuff. So Ariel, you are the lawyer representing the accusers for both Trey Songz and Chris Brown. And recently, I just worked with you with the Duty Low situation.
Correct.
Wow. So you got social media on fire.
I apparently.
Listen, so tell us, what type of lawyer are you?
So I do mainly sports and entertainment. That's what pays the bills. Okay. So I have NFL clients, and I have people who are in the rap industry, as well as reality TV stars and actors who do film and television. So that's predominantly the work that I do in terms of legal work.
Okay, so now, before we get to how you got roped into this Trey Songz accusations about the anal rape, and then of course Jahara Jeffries, I think her name was, that was a totally isolated situation from this Jane Doe whom we don't know. And then Chris Brown, that lawsuit was just announced on, I believe, January 28th, if I'm not mistaken, about him allegedly raping a young woman that you're representing, you and your partner, George Vrabek. Okay. Where's he from?
George is from Newport Beach, California.
Okay.
He's a very successful attorney and manager. So some of his former clients include Stone Cold Steve Austin, John Cena, Vanna White, and the likes of those. So he's very big in California. And me and George do business together through our other celebrity clients. That we have a joint celebrity client together, and that's how we met.
So I'm looking at, like, I guess your background and of course his background, and I'm gonna get more into your background in a minute. It does make a sense, being that you guys are dealing with a lot of celebrities. You're on the Miami, like the East Coast, South Side, and he's in California, so you're kind of able to, I have co-counsel here, I have co-counsel there. So I gotta say, that's one hell of a strategic partnership there.
Very much so. That was the idea behind it, just having the backing of, somebody who's been an attorney for a while and who has the know-how to work through certain things with celebrity clients and the media attention that comes with things like this, and just having somebody who has a certain long-standing history. It's very nice to be able to learn from him, and him helping me grow and helping me down the path of the type of attorney that I am becoming as I'm in my legal profession. Okay.
Well, no, like I said, I really do appreciate you being here such last minute. I just figured out everything. I mean, everything was going down on social media last night with Trey Songz's brother, standing up for his brother regarding the Jane Doe that you are representing currently. And so, when I'm trying to go down the rabbit hole, and I'm just like, you were right here in my phone, like, and then I called you. And, we had a very long conversation. I know some of that stuff that we talked about is off record, but whatever you can talk about today, we're glad to have it, glad to hear it, because there needs to be some clarity, because, a lot of people will look at you and George, and I know George is not here to speak for himself, and I don't expect you to answer for him, and we talked about this earlier, it from the outside looking in, okay, and you have two Black men that are being accused of some of the most egregious things. Of course, one of your clients, Duty Low, we just cleared a couple weeks ago. All facts, police investigation, everything on the table. Now, this Trey Songz situation and Chris Brown situation are two isolated situations. However, both of the accusers are under your firm. And so from the outside looking in, and especially when you got Trey Songz's brother magnifying, you need to look at the lawyer. She's corrupt. She's being investigated for bribery by the Florida bar. And so I called you and I was like, what the hell is going on, Ariel? And I asked you, I said, is George
putting a battery in your back, because from the outside looking in, it would look like he's the one representing the accusers, doesn't want to put a Caucasian face out there because it really looks racial, and it looks like it's possibly being, he's racially profiling top level artists. But you told me that these are your cases.
Correct. So to start with my first client, who is Jahara, who at first too was a Jane Doe. So Jahara's original case was a federal case with her first set of lawyers.
And she accused Trey Songz
of sexually assaulting her at 11.
Okay.
At 11 nightclub back in 2018.
And that was after he left Diddy's party.
After he left Diddy's house, Diddy had a New Year's Eve party at his house, which is where Jahara met Trey Songz. She was also at Diddy's house. And as they were leaving, Trey Songz invited her and her friends to go with him, saying, "You don't want to go home tonight. It's New Year's. Come hang out with me. We're going to have a good time at 11. So that's how they met, was at Diddy's house. So Jahara did everything that you would expect somebody who had been sexually assaulted to do. She called the police, she filed a police report, and she hired an attorney within 5 days of the incident. Now, Jahara's mistake was hiring an attorney who was ill-equipped, I'll say, to handle the situation. So after dealing, and I would like to also say, Trey Songz is on his third set of attorneys. This attorneys that he has now is his third set of attorneys for Jahara's case, specifically. So he had a first set of attorneys, and then a second set of attorneys, and then I came in and dealt with the second set of attorneys. But to take it a step back, Jahara contacted me back in November of 2020, and through another mutual client that I have, because a lot of people like the representation they get from me. So I don't do any promotion. You won't find any advertisement from my legal services. All of my business is word of mouth. So this client said, "Hey, I have a young lady. She has a case. She doesn't like her representation. I told her I knew you. I think you can help. She really needs some help."
Okay.
And people know that's the key word with me. Somebody needs help, because I like to help. So I talked to Jahara. I found out that she had a Jane Doe case in federal court against Trey Songz, and I learned the nature of her case. I looked into the case. I actually told her, "I don't practice this kind of law. This is not what I do. I actually represent celebrities. I don't really represent the other side of the coin. I typically would be on the side of the celebrity." So I said, well, let me see if some of my partners may want to take this case, because as lawyers, we have other lawyers who we refer cases out to who typically do this kind of things. So I called 2 of my lawyer colleagues and asked them if they would like to take on the case. And they also declined, because my other partner, he does a lot of celebrity work and is conflicted out because of certain things he does in the celebrity world. And then my other colleagues just didn't see any value in the case. They just didn't. I was like, "Oh, it's a Black girl." It was just kind of one of those things. And I told Jahara no. I told her, "No, I don't want it. My friends don't want it. You have a lawyer. Good luck with that." Jahara wouldn't accept no for an answer. She actually called me for 3 months until January, pretty much on a bi-daily basis. I talked to her 2-3 times a week, every week consistently. My weakness is persistence. If you're going to be persistent with me, you're going to wear me down, because I like a persistent person, that I reward persistence. So eventually in January, Jahara calls me and says, they have a mediation scheduled. She wants to end this. She just want to get it over with. It's already been 3 years at this point. We're now in January 2021, which is 3 years from when the incident happened to start. So she's just like, "I want to get it over, but I just don't trust my attorney. I don't think he's on my side. He doesn't explain things to me. So at least if you can be there by my side to explain things, just so I feel comfortable with closing this chapter, that's what I would like from you." So I said, "Well, let me look into your attorney." Found out that her attorney was a good, or what I thought to be a good friend of mine from law school. told her, oh, this kid, I know him. He broke my oven at one of my house parties. Like, so I know this kid. So let me talk to him and see what me and him, I don't think it should be a problem.
So you knew Jahara's
previous lawyer.
Previous lawyer. One of the lawyers.
It's only one lawyer she had before.
Okay.
Before me. And then I called him thinking, it's me. He's going to be happy to hear from me. If he has to partner with anybody, why not somebody you know, somebody you went to law school with and was in the trenches with? That conversation was not pleasant. He was not happy that Jahara A had sought other legal counsel, or B, that Jahara was insistent on me also being present. He did not take that well at all. He actually did everything to undermine our mediation prior to that day. And the day we had mediation was actually the day after Trey Songz had been arrested at the Kansas City Chiefs game.
Okay.
So he had got into some type of argument with the security over not wearing his mask, and they ended up arresting him.
Okay.
So he wasn't even present that day because he was incarcerated. So
how was there a mediation going on between an accuser and he wasn't there?
His mother.
Oh.
He's a mama's boy.
So she's power of attorney?
Correct.
Okay.
So, and her lawyer made it known to me that, they wouldn't have had she didn't have any of that prior to him. And he was the one who set her up legally to be able to make these decisions. And that she had apparently been making all of these decisions on behalf of Trey Songz without the legal power of attorney and paperwork, and that he fixed all of that. So that's why the mother could effectuate a settlement with us at that time. So at that time, we had a mediation, we had a settlement negotiation, and this is stuff you can read in her old federal court case. We got to a place where we reached a dollar amount agreement, but we were arguing over how to resolve Jahara's first lawyer's lien. So what Jahara's first lawyer did was went behind our back and gave Trey Songz lawyers a lien against the case. And a lien against the case is if any settlement comes from it, he kind of has first dibs, that they can't give it to me without the court. He kind of put a monkey wrench in it for all intents and purposes. So I filed a motion with the court asking them to adjudicate his lien, to either say it was a good lien or a bad lien, tell us how much we had to pay him, if we had to pay him anything, and then to finalize our settlement. So as opposed to the court doing that, they ruled on a prior motion that had been filed before I had become Jahara's attorney and before we had fired Andrew and all the drama that took place at mediation. So with her first, the judge ruled that her first lawyer did not properly serve Trey Songz. And service is a very important part of a lawsuit. If you don't get served, the lawsuit, you have no notice the lawsuit didn't happen. So he was able to get the case initially thrown out on a technicality. So
even after there was
we had mediation and an offer, and we had pretty much settled everything. Had her first lawyer not interrupted, we would have settled the case, and that would have been it. Had he not did what he did, we could have settled the case without the court just agreed and just asked the court to approve it, and that would have been the end of it. And then that we would have concluded, we would have had a confidentiality, non-disclosure agreement, and we wouldn't have been able to talk about anything related to the allegations or any wrongdoing by Trey Songz. And that's why a lot of people have this misconception that Trey Songz has gotten away with these prior allegations because he pays people off and then makes them agree not to disclose the nature of not only the settlement agreement, but then the nature of what they were accusing him of. So then,
was there? Because I didn't have a chance to really look at everything because everything happened so fast.
Right.
Me getting on the phone with you from Trey Songz's brother, pretty much slandering you online,
defaming me. They are, and he should be very, very careful because he might need to be on the lookout for a defamation lawsuit. You know, I like to sue people for defamation.
I know. There is one. There's one active right now.
Current federal lawsuit right now. I do not hesitate to pull the trigger on a lawsuit.
So and we're gonna get into that, but him, me having to, kind of read as much as I can, and you're only in town for a day today. Was there an admission of guilt during the settlement negotiations? Because there's no way I'm going to settle if I'm not guilty of anything.
No,
so why would a dollar amount be discussed?
Well, the dollar amount will be discussed for the reasons we're talking about right now. He wants to protect himself from what's happening right now, the negative publicity. Because what do we know about Trey Songz? This isn't the first time. It's not the first, the fifth, the 10th. When I filed Jahara, or when I took over on Jahara's case, she was the 13th individual to sue Trey Songz for assault. So this isn't just something that we just are the first or second people to accuse him of doing something like this. We are one in a long line of people who have accused him of doing stuff like this. And he clearly has a vested interest in people not discussing this longer than necessary. It comes out, people make a big noise, like Lisa Bloom had a case against Trey Songz with a young lady in 2019 that she settled that case with. And Lisa Bloom was all over everywhere with her client talking about the case. And then all of a sudden you heard nothing of it. She dismissed her lawsuit in California civil court against him. And that was the end of it because they settled the case. So typically with settlements in the legal field, you have a confidentiality agreement. Not always, because these are settlements. These are things you can negotiate. So you can negotiate an apology. You can negotiate an admission of guilt. You can negotiate all of those things. But that was not, they were trying to negotiate against that. So there was no admission of guilt. There would not be any admission of guilt. And their major concern was that my client and her attorneys would not say anything. And that was the nature of why they were willing to settle.
Ooh, the hole goes deep. Okay, and so, and I'm sure, you know, attorneys talks amongst attorneys. So with Lisa Bloom's case, do you feel, in your professional opinion, there was a dollar amount agreed upon in that settlement?
I'm confident that there was.
Okay.
Just from information I got from Jahara's prior attorney, because when I came on, I guess before we really blew up, my first question to him was, did he seek out Lisa Bloom or her help? Because she had already been successful litigating a settlement from Trey Songz. And he said he had reached out and that Lisa Bloom, I guess, essentially wasn't interested in a partnership with him. She wanted the case because they don't share credit. So they don't do a thing like what me and George are doing, where we're willing to bring together our individual law firms for the greater good of the situation at hand, as opposed to saying, no, George, I want all of the glory here. I'm not going to partner up with you. Okay. So that was the situation.
So this particular woman, Jahara, was the one that Trey Songz did end up calling out on Twitter.
Correct.
Saying that, I guess he posted some some direct messages on Instagram between a young lady that was there.
That's the same young lady they're trying to say.
Right. So these text messages that read, she would testify on behalf of Trey. She would not back up Jahara because Jahara was asked to leave for inappropriately filming Trey Songz, and he didn't trust her. And so as they were getting ready to leave, his side is, according to her in these text messages, that Trey asked her to leave and she felt embarrassed. So her and a few other friends ended up leaving. And then a couple days later, these allegations come into play. And Trey says on Twitter that she wanted her school fees paid and monies paid towards therapy for her trauma, and posted the messages from her friend, the same friend that Ruski, Trey Songz' brother, says that you were accused of bribing in order to corroborate your accuser, your client's testimony. I'm trying to put it all together. Right. I had literally a few hours to do this. So it's such a rabbit hole, and it's everywhere. It's like webs. And so this particular girl that Trey Songz posted these messages from is the same woman that his legal team said you took out to eat dinner and bribed her with anywhere from $100,000 to $200,000,
150 to 200,
to lie
for my client,
for your client.
So let's walk that through. After
he had already posted messages.
So those messages that you're discussing were from August of 2020.
Okay.
Way before I had ever came on the case. I had a settlement on a table for 6 figures without ever talking to that young lady. I didn't need her to corroborate anything. There was no, when I talked to her, it was 2 months after the court had thrown our case out. So prior to that, I had a settlement offer for 6 figures. I knew I could get that money back at least. If I had it on the table once, I can get it on the table again. All I needed to do was refile the case, which was initially after the judge threw out our initial lawsuit that her first lawyer, Andrew, filed, I went back to Trey Songz's attorney and said, hey, we'll give you a discount. We'll knock X dollars amount off of the original settlement just so we don't have to refile. This way, everybody can, because my client at that time, she was struggling with coming forward. She was a Jane Doe.
Okay,
So Jahara was
okay.
a Jane Doe. So she was very concerned about coming forward and very concerned about what that might do for her and her future and her likeness. And then it got to a point where she just said, I shouldn't have to feel ashamed. I shouldn't have to hide. I should be able to be confident enough to stand on this and not be scared anymore. And she came to the conclusion when it was time to refile, she didn't want to be a Jane Doe. She wanted to stand on her own too. But that was only after the horrible treatment we received at the hands of Trey Songz and his attorneys. And the disparate treatment. They treated my client like she was just out for money, like she came from nothing. We had to explain to them, Jahara's father is a doctor. But OBG, she's not some poor little girl looking for a come up. Like, this is something that happened to her and something serious that happened and something that continues to happen by the same individual time and time again. So the situation, they're trying to paint out this narrative. And it's really sad if you really think about it, that this is the best they could come up with. To try to disparage me and attack me.
Yeah, because the Florida bar, and I didn't mean to cut you off, I'm sorry, because I believe there was an article printed and after a motion was filed.
So when you file a complaint, you have to respond. So the parties get served and then they respond. Okay. Now, what I know about their motion is, if you look at the time they filed their motion, which was at 9:15, 12 minutes later, TMZ ran the story. What I know about
the bribery charges.
Right, about the motion. What I know about TMZ is they prep stories. So there's no way they could have written the story in 12 minutes and posted it. I know the true intent of Trey Songz and his attorneys is to change the narrative and shift the spotlight from Trey and his continued pattern of behavior to me, and attempt to disparage me, A, to try to make me look bad in the public eye, B, to probably try to disparage my clients and the many clients that continue to come to me and flock to me over these allegations that I continue to represent every day. And more importantly, Trey Songz attacks women. That's what he does. They don't attack men who do the same thing, because if we're talking about lawyers who do what I do, the names we know and love, Benjamin Crump, Tony Busby. And if I don't know if you know who Tony Busby is, but he is an attorney who represents 22 young ladies who were accusing Deshaun Watson, who was a NFL player for the Houston Texans. He had 22 young ladies accusing Deshaun Watson of sexual assault during massages. And then Tyrone Blackburn, who is an attorney representing all the young ladies who at a point were accusing T.I. and Tiny.
Well, Tyrone, we've done our own individual investigations on him.
Okay.
We're going to leave him out of
I'm just saying,
he ain't on Crump levels.
Well, I'm just saying, these are the attorneys who represent cases like this. Right. And they're men who do not face this level of attack. Nobody's attacking my partner George. They're attacking me with things they know to be a lie, things they know they cannot prove in any regard. And it's all a desperate and pathetic attempt to try to shift the narrative from what Trey Songz has continued. It's not just the people we know about. It's not just Keke Palmer. It's not just BB Rexa. I have 3 young ladies. I have 3 clients accusing Trey Songz of
Two are Jane Doe's, correct? No, one is
One
Dylan.
is a Jane Doe.
And one is Dylan.
Jahara, and then the other one is Dylan Gonzalez.
Dylan Gonzalez, that's what I was going to say. So let's talk about Dylan for a second, because when she made her statement, it was just like, boom, I'm out.
Drop the mic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and you know, my viewers were like, Tasha, can you follow up on this? Of course, I reached out to Dylan, had no idea that you were representing her at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I was just like floored, because she said that this incident happened 9 years ago. And her having to relive this because accusers keep coming up. And so I guess she felt compelled to speak on it. Now, why does, even though it's been 9 years, I'm sure it's out of the statute of limitations.
That's
Is
not
it?
true.
It's not?
No.
Okay.
So Dylan will be the next case that we're filing in Nevada. So her case is coming up shortly.
Oh, wow.
And as you know, we have the Jahara case, and then we filed the second case in California, and then the third case will be in Nevada. A lot of times, if you research sexual assault victims, it takes them a long time to relive this, because they get assaulted and then they don't want to think about it anymore. They put it out their heads. They try to recover internally from the trauma that they experience.
Right.
They don't want to be victims. They don't want to think. And I think a lot with Dylan is so strong. So she didn't want to have to accept that this happened to her. And it's a struggle to accept that you have been victimized by somebody you trusted. Like, this somebody she knew, somebody she trusted. It wasn't like in the Jahara case where he was just Trey Songz, the singer that she had just met. This was somebody Dylan knew and communicated with and trusted and looked at as somebody who could be trusted. And he betrayed her trust and her.
So they were dating.
Correct? I don't know if they were dating, but I know they were friends with each other. And if you know a lot about the young Hollywood scene, and during this time, Dylan was very big in terms of NCAA basketball.
Yes.
She had just transferred to UNLV. She was, for all intents and purposes, very lit.
Right.
And she said she felt like, you know, Trey was interested in her because of how lit she was. And, you know, essentially like, oh, you know, you an up and coming star. I can kind of use you. We can use each other, and coming at her kind of essentially like that. So she's just like, oh, this is Trey Songz. And this is at the height of Trey Songz being Trey Songz. Yeah. So, you know, she didn't really see the ill intent until it was too late. Because she's just such a naturally trusting person, wanting to believe the best in people. And she wanted to accept him at face value and trusted him to her detriment.
Now, I know, because she hasn't spoken about what happened. It was just kind of Trey Songz to me. It was like, damn, and boom, she had a statement. And no one really questioned her story because she's Dylan.
Right.
You know? So, and she's not out here
thotting,
trying to clout chase and thought at the same time. So it was just like, okay, we definitely have to pay attention. Are you able to explain a little of what happened between her and Trey Songz? And I know you gave just a little background, stuff that people didn't even know. You know, we're exclusively hearing it first. Are you able, without having to go through the intimate, I wouldn't even call it intimate details, like, get that out of my head. What happened leading up to the assault? Without explaining the assault.
You know, a lot of stuff I would like for Dylan, and giving her the opportunity to speak her truth and to say what happened to her without having anything out prior to that. I really feel she deserves the opportunity to speak for herself. But all I know about that, they were friends. They were cordial. They spoke to each other. I read... She gave me a phone, an iPhone 6 with a circle. I forgot all about the circles, full of text messages between the two that I've ciphered through from that period of time leading up and through 2017. So there was a period of time they spoke back then, and then he came into her life. I believe it was 2017, 2019, one of those years. Maybe it was 2019. But so I've read through the initial messages, and they seemed very friendly with each other. They seemed... like friends. and especially initially. And then after it happened, it seemed like she was distant, like she didn't trust him as much, and he was trying his earnest to gain back her trust, apologizing for what he did, saying he thought it was normal behavior, trying to get her to essentially forgive him for what he had done. So to the point of what happened and what led up.
So he's asking for forgiveness in the text messages.
Correct.
Wow.
Correct. So, you know, I believe what Trey was really afraid of, and maybe he can answer why he fired his second set of attorneys and is on to this new group. I know it's because I defeated them, but he knew they.
I gotta tell you, I love your swag. She's like, I did that.
Yeah, so
yes.
They got them out of there real quick because they couldn't get the job done. The job was to get rid of me. The job was to destroy me. They looked at me. I'm just some young black girl with my own law practice. I ain't no shit, basically. And that was the sentiment that they gave to me.
I can relate to that.
They just think, you know, you just out here, you ain't got the back end. I don't have the money. I don't have the know-how. I don't have the machine behind me. So I'm nothing.
I can definitely agree with you on that part right there. Trust me. And so I do respect just your tenacity, your strength, everything, and just how you know, because when I got on the phone with you, I expected you to do what other lawyers do. I cannot talk about it, but you was like, fuck that. Listen here, Tasha, like, that's a lie. That is a lie. This is what happened. And I'm like, you do an interview?
I mean, I hate to be so crass, but I'm a real ass bitch. So because of that, I grew up in the trenches. I'm from Chicago. I'm from 97th and Racine. Like, my mama was a crackhead, died on the street. My grandparents raised me. So I don't come from a traditional lawyer background. The highest level of education in my family was a high school diploma. So nobody has a bachelor's degree. Nobody has a doctorate. I don't have professionals in my family. I'm doing this. This is God's plan for me. All of this is by God's design. Even how I came across Jahara, after denying her, after telling her no, after her not accepting no, I never would have thought, first of all, Trey Songz would have been accused again of at Dre's in November of last year. Who would have saw that coming? I definitely didn't see that. Then 2 weeks later, we refiled Jahara's case, and not as a Jane Doe, but we refiled her case in Florida State Court. And then Dylan, who would have saw that coming either? And Dylan reached out to me and George because she saw that me and George were already in the process of suing Trey Songz. So it made sense to her. Why not go with the people who are already dealing with this? They're going to be the people who are motivated to try to help me, or at least listen to what I have to say and take some credence to it. And what I've noticed between all 5 of my clients is each one of them have come to me and my partner, George, because they were trying to help the other. They were trying to support the other young lady's story and saying, hey, I know this isn't a lie because this happened to me too. And what I would like to see is more women having that ownership and collective responsibility to come support one another. And all of these young ladies called us without the intent of filing. They didn't know they even had a case. They just were calling to help out the young lady before them, to say, I don't like that people are calling him a liar. I don't like that people are saying this didn't happen. I don't like that everybody is victim shaming because this happened. I know it happened because it happened to me too.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Jane Doe and the anal. Because I read through just kind of a brief article of what was stated about, you know.
I'll get you the full complaint so you can read it.
Please,
I'll send it to you.
Because I'm just like, okay. I like to see it for myself. But if you don't mind walking us through detail without having to, of course, disrupt your current legal proceeding, but what happened with Jane Doe. Can you say that, is she black or white? Because, you know, there's this thing. It's white women. Jahara did break that ice. Dylan broke that ice as well. Is this a woman of color as well?
I don't want to say just yet.
Okay. Okay.
Because I don't want to do anything to further identify her.
Okay.
So anybody could figure out who she is.
Okay.
But her situation was, let me say this. The commonality between all three young ladies is they viewed Trey Songz as a nice young man. He was charming. He was sweet. He was somebody they thought was trustworthy, which is why they went off with him. And then he turned. Then he flipped when he doesn't get his way. So in the situation with the Jane Doe, a young lady in our newest case, she had been casually having sex with Trey Songz and been in a casual sexual relationship with him. And he wanted to anally have sex with her, and she wasn't into that. And then he just decided he was just gonna take it. And she didn't even ask to go. When she said someone interrupted her, which you'll see in the complaint. I did see that in the article. Yeah, and that when it was going on, somebody walked in the room, but she couldn't readily tell who because he had her like pressed down, and then they left. And then she was able, I guess he kind of stopped after then. She ran out, got into an Uber.
So he didn't finish?
To my knowledge, he did not finish. And she got into an Uber, and it was the Uber driver who noticed her in such disarray, asked her was she okay, asked her if it was okay for him to reroute her from her destination to the hospital.
Oh, wow.
He took her to the hospital. Okay. She had a test, or kit. They found anal tearing and significant ruptures to her anus that would support a violent anal rape. The police were called, because as we know, if you go to the hospital, it's not you that calls the police. The medical professionals call the police. So the police came, she filed a report, and they asked for a name. She didn't want to give it. She was afraid. She was confused. Imagine you just got raped, now you in a hospital, now the police in your face. Right. That's a lot to process for anybody. And then they came and followed up, and Trey Songz has security that's on Instagram punching dudes out, one-hitter quitters. And this is a known guy who goes around telling people he a trained killer, and that's what he does, and threatens young ladies who are around Trey Songz. So with violence, if they speak out or if they do things. So as a result of that, she was genuinely in fear for her safety. And then that young lady tried to work with her father, who at the time was a retired law enforcement officer, and was trying to work with him to go through people they knew and trusted with the police to come forward with who it was. And, at the time, this is 2016, Trey Songz still a pretty big celebrity. And then her dad dies from cancer. So now she has to deal with that. And now she's in a position where she just want to bury it. She just wanted it to be just out of her mind and not have to think about it. And then when Jahara's case came out and then Dylan's case came out, she said just came all flooding back to her. And she was just like, he keeps getting accused of this and nothing's happening. No justice is being served. He's just essentially allowed to roam free to again.
Wow. Wow. That was a lot. And and she's not even here telling it, and it's still a lot. And
so imagine her and people who want interviews with my clients. I'm like, come on, y'all want them to keep reliving this trauma over and over for entertainment purposes? Like, I know it's entertaining to y'all, but this is real life. Y'all not on the phone with these girls for hours with them crying and literally having nervous breakdowns. And then I gotta read people. I feel like people are going out of their way to not believe them when it would be so much easier to just believe them. Everybody wants to make all of these laundry lists of excuses for why this happened and why they should not be believed, when it would be so much easier to just maybe say, when there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of smoke billowing from the Trey Songz side of things. And it's consistent. This has not been something, again, 1, 2, or 3 people have accused him of. We are 13. I have clients 13, 14, and 15 in terms of lawsuits against him.
Okay, let's And so in order to dispel any, I guess, hits to your reputation as a lawyer, or to discredit you or anything like that, you are not being investigated for bribery, nor have you been charged with bribery?
I have not been charged.
Okay.
Anybody can levy an allegation in
Okay.
terms of a Florida bar complaint.
Okay.
So I could make up anything about another lawyer and allege it in a complaint.
Okay.
Not that you should or that I
Right.
would, but essentially.
That's a strong allegation.
Of course it was. And
I know courts don't like that. So
of course not. And to accuse a lawyer of doing something like that, I found to be very egregious.
Mm-hmm.
And initially, how do I say this? It's hard to get upset at something so outrageous that you already know is a lie, but it's just so outrageous. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
And then if anybody wanted to, I guess, get me in trouble, the Florida bar would have.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be practicing law. Let's say that.
That's
I would
true.
not be right now. I wouldn't have had Duty's case. I wouldn't be here still filing cases. If they wanted to do something against me, something would be done by now. So this isn't anything new. They accused me of this a year ago. They only are doing it now because, again, Trey Songz has new lawyers.
Mm.
They're looking to use any and everything to push away the narrative from Trey Songz and from what he's doing. And they did it strategically and intentionally. They only did it for the media. They know this motion isn't going to go anywhere. They know nothing is going to happen in terms of any punishment towards me. They're really just looking to sway public opinion and hopefully sway any other potential victims who might want to come and use my services. And then it was so funny, I don't know what Trey Songz' brother, which is like, you're clearly biased. You clearly have a vested interest in protecting your brother and your income.
He said he was going to ride for mine. He said, I'm going to ride for mine.
As he should, right, wrong, or indifferent. Mm-hmm. But what happened to R. Kelly's brother? R. Kelly's brother rolled for him, and then what did R. Kelly do with his brother? Threw him under the bus and said that was my brother in the video, not me.
Let's put the wine down for a second, because at times like this, we need to take a shot of the olive leaf extract, because the olive leaf boosts our immune system and has been known to reverse high blood pressure, lupus, diabetes, and certain cancers. Check them out at myoliveleaf.biz to learn more and to order, or simply click the link below in the description box. Now back to the wine. AdamandEve.com. I'm talking toys, bondage, lingerie, and so much more. Plus, they have 24/7 customer service, so you can order at 3 a.m. if you ain't coming, if you get me, okay? And if something isn't working out, you can send it back within 90 days, no hassle. And if that's not enough, you can also take pleasure in knowing that 20% of their profits goes to help fight the spread of HIV around the world. So go on ahead and log on to AdamandEve.com. Use the code TASHAK for 50% off one item plus free shipping in the U.S. and Canada. Some exclusions apply now, but hurry up and visit AdamandEve.com so they can make you come. All right, so I'm glad we did that for social media, of course, because I didn't just run with it. I was just like, well, let me call Ariel. Let me call her. So
it was just so funny because I found out about it because I got the motion through court. I didn't even know TMZ ran a story about it until.
Oh, that's how they play now.
Yeah,
that's how they.
I didn't know.
Trust me, story of my life.
Yeah, I didn't know at all until people started calling me, asking me if I was okay. And I'm like, why y'all keep calling me, asking me, am I okay? And they were like, you didn't see the article on TMZ? And I'm like, what?
I'm telling you.
And I was like, and then I read it, and then I called TMZ, and I said, y'all didn't ask me for a quote.
They need to stop that shit. I'm telling you. But
Trey Songz, let me tell you, Trey Songz has been the one running to TMZ. So initially, when Dylan made her claim on social media, I get a call from TMZ. Trey Songz just asked us to run a story. Do you want to comment? What's the story about? It's about Dylan, and we know y'all representing Dylan, so do y'all want to make a statement? So from the onset, we would have had no publicity, at least not from TMZ initially, if Trey Songz wasn't so thirsty to try to do media.
Yeah, I can see that too. It kind of bounces back. It starts, So,
he started it. I'm just going to finish it.
Yeah. Are you able, as I know you are representing the Chris Brown accuser too, and I just have to say this.
And there's another young lady we're filing a lawsuit for her too in the Chris Brown situation.
So there's going to be two.
Two. I'm up to 5 individuals, 3 against Trey songs and 2 against Chris Brown.
Well, damn. So this lawsuit is being prepared right now?
Correct. We should have it by next week.
And they've been put on notice, his lawyers?
Correct.
Wow. Okay. Now, this particular situation, I always hear, Trey Songz, victims at Diddy's party, Chris Brown, victims at Diddy's party. Diddy need to tread lightly here.
It's the company you keep. Diddy needs to be concerned about the people whom he has around. So it was one time T-Pain said something about picking people to do songs with because he did a song with Chris Brown and a song with Tory Lanez, and they keep getting in trouble and that kind of thing. Yeah. And he was like, I'm, like a woman picking bad spouses and mates to be with. He needs to be better. I think that also needs to apply to Mr. P. Diddy, that he needs to be more concerned of who he's letting around his circle and his family and his property. And because now he's been roped into this too. In Jahara's case, Diddy is a defendant.
Yeah, and it seems to always go down at his mansion parties in Miami. Every time.
It's the place to be, apparently.
I would just be like, no sex allowed, guys. Listen, you want to have sex, go out. No
off the property.
No,
off
and,
the property.
And besides, like, I'm old school. Why you ain't having sex with nobody in my house? That's my motherfucking bed upstairs. No, it's just, I don't know. But, and of course, this is not obviously consensual sex, so that makes it worse. Don't take nobody upstairs in my house. Keep these niggas downstairs, okay? Security guard the stairs. I don't understand, like, why hasn't the announcement been made? Because it's getting real messy. And it's like, everybody's saying this is happening at your parties? Now, Chris Brown, he of course says, guys, listen, I don't know if you know, this happens when I'm getting ready to release a project or an album, some shit comes up, basically, don't believe it. Now, he's had his share of accusations. I believe he's still being investigated right now in France, if I'm not mistaken, over an alleged of course. But even though they let him go, they are still conducting an investigation. Now, this particular, you are representing the accuser who was a background dancer. Was she a background dancer for him, or was she just a dancer in general?
I think just in general, not for him specifically.
Okay.
Right.
And from what I read, and correct me if I'm wrong, of course, like you've always done, sitting here, she was invited to the party. I guess she was on the phone with a friend. He jumped on the phone excited to talk to her, invited her to the party. When she got there, according to the reports, he gave her a drink. She was fine. Second drink, she was blacking out.
She didn't necessarily even get through the second drink.
Correct. Yeah, she was blacking out. So maybe it was effects from the first drink. And so I guess her going in and out of sleep, he takes her upstairs and ends up doing what he does, assaulting her, according to the reports. And he ejaculates in her and asks her the next day to say, hey, I was faded. Please take a plan B. I shouldn't have did that. I don't know if she takes a plan B. That was never talked about. She did? Okay. And I did read, this kind of threw me for a loop. She saw him 2 times after that. And the second time, I think the third time that she saw him, I guess maybe he tried to have sex again, and that's when she was just like, no. And it kind of threw me for a loop. Now, of course, I've never been a victim on that point, but it was like, if somebody assaulted me, and
why would you go back around?
Why would you go back? And not only that, like, I guess after she refused the third time, according to her, or the article that I read, that he was talking shit to her. And
they're gaining all of this from our complaint. So, right, you've done a great job of rehashing. I'm trying. What happened. And all of that is pretty accurate of understanding of my understanding of what happened. How do I say? I think it's hard for people to understand the mindset of a lot of these young girls.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about girls who are 27 and under. They're
Okay.
very young, and they were even younger when this happened. Dylan was 19 when the situation with Trey Songz happened. My other client was like 23. You know, we're talking about very young girls who are growing up with a different set of circumstances and a different environment. They got to deal with social media. They got to deal with, you know, this idea of the new age of womanhood that involves being a whore and a slut to a certain extent. And I'm just saying this is what they're inundated with as this new generation of young women. And this pressure that's constantly being put on them to be a certain type of way and appeal a certain type of way and be okay with certain things. And these are young ladies trying to find themselves, trying to grow up. They're young, you know, so what doesn't make sense to me and you, because we're a little older,
Right.
we came from a different generation, I think it's hard to judge them, especially if you're talking about, in California especially. We all know the LA scene is real small, real insular. When you're talking about the popular kids or the kids who do music or who are in this environment, that circle is really small. So to avoid somebody like Chris Brown, it's damn near impossible. So to go somewhere like the second occasion where he's at, but you can actively avoid him, that's what she was able to do.
Okay.
And the third time, it's like she's trying to also actively avoid him, but he sees her. Oh, I remember you, the bitch I fucked. Let me try to run that back, because clearly I know I could do it. I did it once and whatever, and I could probably maybe get away with it again. Because typically what we know about abusers is they victimize the same victim. Child abusers, all of that, they don't typically like to go find new victims. I'll abuse the same person multiple times. So in that instance, when she makes it known, look, hey, I don't even want to be here, let alone around you. We're dealing with a bunch of egomaniacs that don't like to be rejected, don't like to hear the word no, which is why they do things like drug women to get their way, because they ain't got time to be told no. And if you tell them no, they just gonna take it.
So how did you arrive at $20 million for Trey, one of the accusers, and $20 million for Chris? And I guess that's kind of what got social media up in a frenzy, because it's like both of these men are being sued by your clients, both for outstanding amounts. $20 million is a lot of money, you know, and there's been no, I guess, active.
There's an active police investigation for Chris Brown.
That was my next thing. But as far as them being charged,
well, what most people don't understand, the criminal justice system in America, the state brings the action. No victim in America can force the state to bring criminal charges against somebody. So it's up to the state to determine that there is enough evidence beyond a reasonable doubt. So people forget that reasonable doubt is the highest bar that you have to meet. It means almost 100%. There's nothing, no doubt whatsoever. You at 99%, I got 1% reasonable doubt, right. I should get off. So the state, and the police in concert, when they're doing these investigations, they're not in the business of losing. They're not in the business of bringing charges that they don't believe have a high rate of conviction. So because of that, if you're a victim and the state isn't going to act with criminally, you're only left with civil litigation. That's your only option. And then everybody thinks about these dollar amounts. That's all they hear, these big numbers, big numbers, big numbers. Tasha, tell me what's your vagina worth to you?
It's priceless.
And if somebody violates your most intimate part, where babies come out, where we birth life from, how does anybody put a price on that? We're trying to penalize the behavior, because if we can't get them penalized in criminal court, which is what all of my clients want, they really want to see them behind bars, but we can't do anything about that. So hopefully we think if they're penalized enough financially, That'll be the thing that corrects the behavior. If you know, if you taking vaginas out here, it's going to cost you $20 million, probably think twice about it.
Yeah, yeah. Now, the second accuser that you are representing, I guess in the Chris Brown assault, is it similar to what? Are you able to speak on a little bit about?
So that young lady came forward, and she was also there on the boat at Diddy's yacht with the other young lady. But they did not know each other. Do not know each other, not from the same state. Otherwise, don't even remember mingling with each other, other than the fact that they both have pictures from being on the boat that day and can corroborate that she was on the boat and she was on the boat. So our other client was initially called us to lend support to our first client and said, I know Chris Brown was drugging girls that weekend because he drugged me the next day.
Wow.
And the same state she explained she was in when Chris Brown drugged her was the same state that the other client explained. So it would lend itself to he was drugging them with the same drugs.
Was she assaulted?
She was not sexually assaulted.
Okay.
She was just drugged. And because she had her friends with her to protect her, I guess, for a certain amount of time. And then there was another portion of time where she was by herself and had to get out of Dodge. And she kind of pulled a Keke Palmer and hid until sunlight broke and got out of there. So she literally, I call it pulling a Keke Palmer, where she's hiding from Chris Brown and his friends at this point because she's drugged. She's trying to figure out, trying to come down off a high. It's the middle of the night. Now she's starting to come into her senses. Where am I?
So
Why
he
am
gave
I
her a drink?
No. He put his finger in her mouth and his finger had drugs on it.
Oh.
That's how he drugged her. It was pretty direct and in front of other witnesses. Because her friends were freaking out about, she doesn't do drugs and being very concerned about the adverse effects that it will have on somebody who does not do drugs. And he told them, just chill out, it's just ecstasy, she'll be okay.
Oh, wow. Okay, what type of, because you weren't into representing, victims or clients that you have now with this Trey Songz and Chris Brown case. What type of law were you practicing before? Was it just?
It was just entertainment contracts, mostly contract disputes with my entertainment clients, reviewing contracts, going into litigation. And then I just like to help people.
And George as well, same thing?
George was doing a lot more entertainment side, management side with his clients, agent management things with his clients. I would be the first to say I had no intention in practicing this kind of law. This is not what I set out to do. But sometimes God calls you into a battle and you got to answer. And I'm a servant of God. And I don't believe for a second that God didn't place this onto me for me not to help. He didn't send Jahara my way. He didn't create the situation to send Dylan my way and the girls with the Chris Brown. All of these things have come to me mainly because I am pure of heart and I'm doing this for the right reasons to help. And I don't really care who it is, but I don't, my grandmother was molested and because that happened to her, she was so adamant in how she raised me and my aunts in terms of protecting ourselves as women. And it used to bother me almost hearing my grandmother blame herself for being and saying, had I not put myself in this predicament, this wouldn't have happened to me. And taking so much ownership over what happened to her that was wrong, that it was those people who did that to her should be taking that ownership, not her taking all that ownership. So I feel God put me in a situation and had my grandmother help me understand so that now when it was time for me to go into battle, I would be prepared and I would be ready to defend people who have been through these things. And even I heard, you said you had been sexually abused and, how hard it is to the shame you feel as a victim, as if you did something to cause this and you are somehow to blame for this happening to you. And it's just so sad because we live in a world where we just let the men go scot-free to again. And what do? Again.
What do you want to say to everyone out here who says that you, Ariel Mitchell, and your partner, George Vraybeck, I got it, Vraybeck, are intentionally only targeting wealthy young Black men?
We're not targeting anybody.
Okay.
That's first. We don't solicit clients. In my Martin voice, they called me. I don't call anybody. I don't need to call to solicit clients or solicit people. When we're talking about two wealthy Black men, which we are, and I do think Black men should be exalted, uplifted, and protected, but that's a two-way street. Okay. We need those same Black men to be protecting us and uplifting Black women and not abusing Black women. And I'm not going to say all of my clients are Black because they're not. I have 5 young ladies, not all of them are Black women. Okay. So we live in a world where, like R. Kelly, for example, was able to so many young ladies because they were all Black young ladies. And we live in a world where we don't really protect Black women. And then when Black men do things to Black women, the Black women are shamed if they do come out, because it's like, oh no, you're going to destroy a Black man. And it's like, well, what about what this Black man did to this Black woman? And I'm not one to want to destroy anybody. That's not what I'm out to gain. Me personally, my partner George, we're not looking to destroy people. But what about justice? What about restoring dignity? The dignity they took away from our clients.
And I understand everything that you're saying, and I do, I guess, see where you're going. I guess, because when I looked at George's website, remember we were talking about that, I was just like, it kind of seems like the paper trail leads back to him, but to hear you say, no, this is all me. I brought him on. And when I looked at his website, it at the bottom, you scroll very low, it says Trey Songz litigation, and it says Chris Brown litigation, but it doesn't say any other litigations. And so to me, to someone on the outside looking in, and it's like, I know he's a lawyer and I know he represents a lot of people, but why only these 2 names at the bottom out of all the cases that he and you have represented?
So the website you're referring to is a special website we have just for this set of litigation.
Okay.
So me and George are not into promoting our other business. I have a ton of other clients. I have a ton of other celebrity clients. Okay. I like Lil Wayne say, real G's move in silence. Okay. We move in silence because under most circumstances, we can effectuate what we need to for our clients behind closed doors, essentially. We don't need to rule rah-rah. In this situation, honestly, nothing gets done without the rule rah-rah. Nobody wants to listen. Nobody wants to act. And then it's how many more people got to come forward before something is done? Like it's getting to a point where accountability needs to be had. And if this is the only way we can get it, then we're willing to go to war for it.
So is this sort of like you guys rallying? I wouldn't even say rallying, but you're putting together sort of like a class action lawsuit.
It's not class action because class action means it was all under the same case and controversy.
Okay.
These are all separate, independent, mutually exclusive incidents. And just like with all of these other lawyers I named, like Ben Crump and Tony Busby, it's strength in numbers. So strategically for anybody, you would want to go with the attorneys who are already in the business of doing this. Why would you want to go to somebody new and outside who doesn't have any experience, who isn't understanding of the intimate workings, and more importantly, who hasn't been already working on this for a substantial amount of time? So these young ladies are seeking us out because we have a proven track record of success. People can go, if you want to go look up my cases, go look them up. I can point you, go to the Miami-Dade County, Broward County, all over Florida. I do cases all throughout the state of Florida. And these young ladies, like, it started with the Jahara's case, and then with Dylan, and then it just kind of mushroomed from there. So, you know, me and George didn't know. It was last summer, you couldn't have paid me and George money to tell us we'd be in this position right now. We did not foresee this whatsoever.
Now, it was a lot. It was a lot that you just said. Like, I mean, we've been here for quite some time. Now, you know, I know Duty Low situation, David Salisbury, who we just cleared, and I was happy to do that, you know, of, you know, being accused of the most egregious allegations against a child, okay? And he is one of your clients. Now, you did tell me that you did represent OTF as a whole, because he is OTF Duty Low. He is under Little Durk's label. I say Little Durk's, Little Durk, so proper. Little Durk's label, and so you are their lawyer, per se. And so if an artist has an issue, you pretty much take care of all the business contracts as well as any other stuff.
Ancillary things, correct.
Yeah, so you are, of course, you did file the defamation case against the young lady that did wrongfully accuse him, and he's been cleared and everything. But what do you say to people that say that you can't play both sides? Or if it seems like you're playing both sides, because Duty Low was accused, just like Trey Songz was accused and Chris Brown was accused. But, you know, when I spoke to you earlier, you said, well, Duty Low was a victim.
There's a difference between, right. If you quantify things as accused and accuser, then I guess it looks like, oh, now I'm going from the accused side to the accuser side.
Right.
But I'm on the side of victims.
Okay.
Have you been victimized? Call Ariel. That's what Ariel stands on. Okay. So, and more importantly, Ariel believes strongly in the line from Players Club. Don't trust anybody information but your own. So anytime anybody comes, including, trust you me, if I thought for a second Duty Low had done something, or after my investigation uncovered any malfeasance, even a little bit whatsoever, I would have told Duty and OTF, find somebody else. I'm not going to do it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I have moral character. Okay. I have convictions. I'm not broke. I don't need to just take any and every case. That's one. I'm not just somebody. It's a lot of lawyers out here who just need to take the business. They need this.
Now I can tell you dripped up and you got Chanel from the earrings to the shoes.
to the red bottoms.
Yes, I'm like, damn.
We not playing around here.
She got a runway dress.
God has a blessed.
Girl, I got on mango right now. You know, I got on mango.
So, I've done very well for myself. I've only been a lawyer for 5, going on 6 years. Okay. So
I was gonna say, you're very young in your practice.
Yeah, I've done very.
I need to change professions.
I've worked for the federal government. I've worked for the state government. My goal was to give back. I know God put me in this position to help, because there's no way I could have got here without God and His divine intervention getting me from where I came from to where I'm at. And every day I'll give God all of the glory anytime I can, because I know without Him, I would be nothing and nowhere. So even in this situation we're in now, I want to help people who have been wronged, who have been victimized, to restore what has been taken from them. So in Duty's case, I initially was just hired to investigate. If there was a police report, if there wasn't, she was playing back and forth. One minute she said something to the police, the next minute she was just saying it for attention. We didn't know what the issue was. We didn't even know if there was an issue. And then the more I investigated, I realized he didn't do anything. And I remember Duty telling me the allegation, and remember thinking, this is so outrageous. I thought he was drunk telling me the story. I said, this makes zero sense. What she said nails in her son's butt And then the first thing I said is, the little boy still alive?
Yeah.
Like, it was the most asinine thing I had ever heard.
Right.
And it just was, again, just like me bribing some girl with $200,000. I don't even have $200,000. I wasn't going to get that money. But anyway, like, it was just as asinine of a lie. And I'm like, there's no way that this, you know, happened. All right, don't. And I kept telling them, don't worry, don't worry. Then she ran to the internet and all hell broke loose.
Yeah.
And I don't even think I realized at the time the severity of what she had done.
Because when it did, I did see you, Shade Room posted you and Duty Low.
On the live.
Talking about all the allegations.
And I definitely didn't want to do that either. I'm like, and I said what the comments said, what kind of lawyer go on? That was my sentiment.
Yeah.
Like, you know, what do y'all got me doing? But they really helped me to understand the seriousness
of how social media
and the power and cancel culture and how important it was to address it in the moment. Because I'm thinking legally, like, oh, we can. They're like, no, Ariel, we got to talk about this right now. I like rushed home. I wasn't even at home. I had to rush home to get to my little setup to even do that live. And, you know, people talking about my appearance, talking about, oh, my shirt was wrinkled, I didn't have any pants on. And I'm laughing.
You ain't had no pants on?
No, that's what the comments said. And I told Duty, I said one time I said at some point I was like, I really wanted to stand up to show them I got a full outfit on.
No, true story. When I started making my videos, sometimes they only see the top up. I have on pajama pants and I'm dressed up.
So one time, you know, all court is pretty much Zoom court after COVID. My phone fell out of my ring light and I just had on some shorts, but no one saw. But after that, I was like, nope. Put on bottoms. I'll never do that again.
So you had on your suit?
I had on my suit and my shirt, and then I had on like some little Gucci shorts or something. And then when the camera tumbled, I went, that was like the worst 2 seconds of my life watching my phone tumble out of the ring light.
Like, damn.
Yeah, I was like, no, not in front of the judge. So, you know, but they were like, oh, we lost you there, Ariel. And no one saw anything. I'm like, did you guys see anything? They were like, no, we just saw the phone hit the floor. I was like, thank God. Okay. So that was a pretty valuable lesson I learned about always.
Judge probably had on shorts too.
Always keeping pants on. If I have the whole suit on, I'm going to have everything on. So.
Now, we're going to wrap up because we've been here a long time. I know. And I can have you here
for hours.
Like all the clients and stuff. But do your celebrity clients who happen to be successful Black men have a problem with you representing accusers who are suing successful Black men who are in the same positions as them? Are you faced with that?
Before I took on even Jahara's case, I called my top clients and told them what was going on. When I went to go work for OTF, I told them, hey, I'm already engaged in this. This probably gonna be coming even more so down the pipeline later. But my other male celebrity clients, in unison, all disparaged Trey Songz.
Oh, wow.
All told me they don't think he's a good guy, that this is him getting what's coming to him, and the allegations that my client and my clients ended up making were all things that they could see him doing. And go ahead, Ariel, go off. So I had a chorus of support. Not one client told me not to do it or that they would not do business with me as a result of it.
Well, there it is, Ariel E. We just gonna call you Ariel E. Hashtag Ariel E. Please, I know you're not in for the social media and all that stuff, but if people want to reach out to you, if they want to find you, if they are a victim,
right?
Where can they reach you?
So you can go to my Instagram at ArielESQ305 or to my partner George Vrabeck at George Vrabeck.
Okay.
Vrabeck, and just at George Vrabeck or at ArielESQ305.
Okay. And
message us on Instagram. A lot of people either start off that way or they contact us on the website VrabeckAdams.com where they can see the litigation. But honestly, a lot of our communication starts from Instagram. People will DM us and say, hey, this is our issue. And to be quite honest, I've talked to probably triple the amount of young ladies than I actually represent.
Oh, wow.
Some young ladies are outside of the statute of limitations, so based on their state. But if I wanted to take on all of the young ladies who accuse Trey Songz of in them, I'd have 7 clients instead of 3. They've been coming out the woodwork. So I just and it's some young ladies I'm able to decipher whether or not this truly happened and they doing it for clout or they doing it for the wrong reasons or they don't have.
Do you get a lot of that though?
I do. And a lot of girls who don't just have supporting evidence. That some girls I actually do believe. One of the girls I did believe, but she had nothing other than her word. And unfortunately, that happens to a lot of people. They have no corroborating evidence. It's just their word versus the other person's word. And that's hard for an attorney because it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And if I can prove, if I need something to be able to prove. And if I have nothing, it makes my job look difficult. And then it makes me look like how Trey Songz and his people are trying to portray me. Like I'm just out for money or out for clout or out to do these things for personal gain only. Yeah. So me and George are very careful over the clients that we pick. We want the most reputable clients. We want the clients with the most evidence that we can support these claims, because ultimately what we really hope is that it's several states now. We're talking about California, Florida, and now Nevada against Trey Songz, that one of these states comes to their senses and realizes something needs to be done criminally.
Ariel, I'm going to be following every single case. I got to tell you, I got a wake-up call today because, of course, I followed a lot of what Chris Brown has, what he's gone through. I did follow very closely the Gloria Allred, Jane Doe that she represented, and her situation was just so graphic. Like, you know, and I do know that, you know, a lot of people have said that Chris Brown does have an orgy room in his house. And of course, he wasn't the one that did it, but he facilitated an environment allegedly where this specific assault took place of her having to be forced to eat or a girl out on her period. And it was so bad. Like,
I've never heard that until now. Wow.
Huh?
I didn't hear that until just right now. Wow.
Yeah, you got to go back and
I got to go back and look
read it. So don't quote me verbatim for that, but I know it was involving her having to. Another girl was on her period, and it was Chris Brown's friend. They were all in the same room, and it was beds everywhere with no sheets on the bed, and it was a mess. And Gloria Allred, I'm not sure what happened with that case. I need to go and...
I'm about to say, even Gloria Allred and her daughter Lisa Bloom,
yeah,
they won't attack them like that because they not black women. Won't nobody ever come at them
well,
like
you know
that.
the narrative. You know, they're black men, you're a black woman. Why are you...
Why is it me of all the people?
Yeah.
But what about my clients? They need representation, and they need adequate and superior, actually, representation. And who better than somebody they can relate to? Because I feel that that's the one thing me and my clients are able to bond. I'm a woman. I look like them, like for all intents and purposes. I look young, I'm cute, you know. I could be one of the girls who got too for all intents and purposes. So, and I'm so down to earth. I'm so relatable. So now they don't feel like they have to have their guards up. Jahar had a male lawyer at first who didn't even believe her. He really didn't believe her. He didn't believe her. So, you know.
He took that retainer, didn't he?
He didn't. Well, these cases are not retainers where you have to pay money up front. They're contingency cases. Okay. So, but it's like, if you lose, we lose. Right. So, you know, we all kind of in this together. Everybody has something to lose and something to gain by being in this. So I'm not going to put my reputation, my bar license, that I worked very hard to ascertain. I would never, under any circumstances, the $380,000 in debt I went into to obtain it, let alone the pain, sweat, and tears it took for me to get there. There's nothing in this world I do to put that in jeopardy. There's no case in this world. That's why it was just so funny about this whole thing. Like, anybody who knows me knows I'm very protective over my license to practice law.
As you should be.
It's my pride and joy, and it took everything for me, nothing more in life. Since I was a little girl, I always wanted to be a lawyer. I'm living my dream. I'm not going to do anything to jeopardize it. And you would think people like Trey Songz and Chris Brown, who are living their dreams, would not be so egotistical and so arrogant to put that into jeopardy consistently.
All right. Thank you so much, Ariel E. Mitchell. I appreciate just all of the rundown, especially the transparency and you not running from any of these allegations that the internet has said about you. And so, again, like I said, I'm going to be following each and every one of these cases very closely. And hopefully, you know, throughout the process, you can give me comments that won't affect your litigation. And one day, hopefully we'll be able to get a comment from all of the accusers together. So
should be on the lookout. Successful. Yeah, yes. We should be on the lookout for the second Chris Brown case. Okay. And we actually just signed another young lady, and we'll be coming out with her case, not against any Black man.
Oh, wow. Okay. There it is. Thank you so much. All right. And now we got to go. I wasn't on cue. I'm sorry about that. I'm so sorry. I was supposed to come right on in so it's smooth. And there it is. Okay, it was a lot. I know. I saw the comments. I tried to ask pretty much every question that social media has been pretty much attacking her on. And so I do want to thank Ariel personally for even sitting down doing this. She did not have to do it. And so just to give you a little bit about our background, we really don't have any background. I was working with Duty Low on presenting the facts with his case. And I did not know that she was his actual lawyer. We had one FaceTime call, and I couldn't put a face with the name. And so when I saw that she was representing Duty Low, I said it can't be the same one, but it ended up being the same one, okay? And so she was gracious enough to sit down with us and extend and carve out time in her busy schedule to give us a lot of the unanswered questions that we had, okay? Shout out to Angela Stack King in the comments, okay? That's my dog. Now, let me tell you something. Me and Angela, we had beef. We had beef. Let me tell you how much beef we had. If she probably would have saw me, or I would have saw her, we probably would have had some words. Well, I wouldn't have had no words because I would have turned and walked the other way because she would have whooped my ass. No cap at all. Like, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna be quiet, okay? Yeah. Shout out to Angela. That's my dog. Y'all know I'm from Florida, so I say that's my dog. But yes, so I tried to pretty much cover all bases. I don't know if you guys saw, okay? We just recorded this interview last night, and about 30 minutes ago, it has been exclusively released, okay, by us. But now mainstream news has picked it up that the second accuser, whom she exclusively talked about in our interview about the finger in the mouth with the ecstasy and things like that, is now, Chris Brown is now being investigated by the Miami police. And so everything that she told us is in full motion, and we'll just have to follow both of these cases until the end. And so I do appreciate you guys. Listen, I know I said that I was going to go live on the app. I am going to do that tomorrow because I have the worst headache right now, okay? I need a vacation from the vacation. I have been running since we got back, since we got off that plane Wednesday night. I should have took my ass to sleep, but I was working on this story here to bring to y'all, and that's why you saw my eyes bloodshot red in that interview, and I was kind of like this because I was exhausted. And going to Jamaica, you guys know it takes a day just to get out of Jamaica because they ain't got but 2 roads, all right? We're going to need to invest in some more roads in Jamaica. All this tourism going on, we have got to do better, okay? But other than that, Jamaica was fantastic. It was good to me, good to my husband. Hell, we still think we in Jamaica, you know what I'm saying? While the interview was playing, we down here, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, but listen, so we're going to go live on the app tomorrow. Please look out for the announcement on my Instagram, okay? I have a very, very busy week next week because we have a lot that we have to catch up on because I was sick and then we were in court and then I was out of town. So we got interviews backed up and stories backed up, and we will start with the fresh commentary next week, okay? So you guys will get me live discussing the commentary old school style, you know what I'm saying? Florida style. And so, yes, but look out for my Instagram tomorrow, Facebook, Twitter. I will announce when we're going to go live on the app, and we'll really, really get into some things. I got some exclusive information on Wendy Williams that I'm going to drop tomorrow on the app. So listen, if you guys want to be a part of the conversation on the app, please feel free to visit our website, TashaKLive.com. You create your account there, sign up there, then you proceed to download the app on the iOS or the Google Play Store to join the conversation, okay? And the app, you guys get to talk to me exclusively. Latasha Transrena Kibi, okay? Y'all don't get to talk to no Tasha K. It's Latasha Transrena Kibi, okay? From 1022 Kersey Avenue, Panama City, Florida, okay? Also, thank you all so much for watching, okay? Thank you to Sweet Bitch for sponsoring this entire segment. I need you guys to literally keep your ears. I know this thing ain't trying to explode. Oh no. I need you guys to keep your ears to the ground Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday because we got some major announcements that we're making, okay? We got some big, big stuff coming up. Big interviews. Big wine, okay? Speaking of wine, I was drinking tonight the Moscato Rosé, okay? It tastes like roses in a bottle with a little champagne, okay? And when you guys get to party with me soon, you may get to sip on it exclusively, okay? We're gonna see, all right? I ain't gonna make no promises, all right? If you have tips on your favorite celebrities, please feel free to hit me, as you always do, and on Instagram in the DM, okay? Unwind with Tasha K. You can also send me an email via unwindwithtashak@gmail.com. If you want to advertise on our platform, please feel free to send us an email via marketing@unwindwithtashak.com, and we will personally get back to you. Also, thank you to all the moderators. Thank you to everybody that donated, okay? Thank you for all the likes. Please continue to like the video. It does good for our analytics, and it tells us what you guys like and what you don't like, okay? So that's why I asked for the likes and the dislikes, okay? Because if you don't like it, you can also dislike it. I don't care what it is, just as long as you let us know what it is that you like and don't like, so we'll know how to tailor all of the gossip, all of the wine, all of these groundbreaking stories to you. And with that said, okay, Teddy, I know you ain't say much tonight because you just sipping, okay, and minding your business, but we will be back, okay, next week, hitting the ground running, and I will see y'all on the app tomorrow night with my Wendy Williams exclusive, okay? TashaKLive.com. And with that being said, now I gotta go to sleep. Take me some Advil. I got the worst headache ever. Bye.